All right, I think we're live, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
We're
well,
back, funny hat and all.
yeah. What did you finally find it or something, or was it in the laundry?
Man, it's cold in this room and my ears are cold. So it's like I'm gonna bring it back out.
Okay. Well, we'll see how long that stays once when it gets even colder out.
Well, yeah, it'll definitely come back when it gets cold. But like when I was recording in the other room, it would get unbearably hot.
Yeah.
And, living where I live, we have every season pretty much every day. So yeah, nah, it's been like monsoon the past 2 weeks, and then today it's just like nice but cold,
Yeah.
and it's what mid July at the time we're recording.
Yeah. Well, welcome to everybody, the BDSM community here. And we're talking about booze, desserts, smoking meats, none of some of that kinky stuff that normally people look into when they type BDSM. So, welcome. If you have stumbled upon us,
Yep.
I hope you stay and listen to what we have to talk about for today because we are continuing our journey around the United States and we are going to be talking about Delaware.
Yeah, yeah. Delaware is a long ways away. My favorite D words.
Yeah. Did you ever see oh man, what's the movie? Wayne's World.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember when they were on the TV and they were going through all the different states and they get to Delaware and they're like, Delaware, I'm in Delaware. I don't know what to do in Delaware. That's what I always think of whenever someone mentions that. Freaking Wayne's World just pops up into my head of them just going, yeah.
Ah, such a classic.
So, uh, safe word for today. You came up with that one. So, what do you got for us?
Well, it'll make sense later on in the episode, foodies, but we're gonna go with catfish.
Catfish. Yes. Not the ones that send you sexy pictures on the internet and then turn out to be a 500 fat slob.
Oh no, those are in our comment section. Like I've been doing my
Yeah.
best to get rid of them, people, but if you go in the YouTube videos and you see something that's obviously something you shouldn't click on, I warned you, but also just let me or the professor know and we'll get it taken care of as soon as we can.
So catfish is the safe word for the day. Now, moving along, what do you got in the cup?
I have been slowly savoring the sweet baby Jesus beers. The chocolate peanut butter porters from Duclaw Brewing Company. And it's just so tasty.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
Well, I have the John Daly. I brewed
Ooh.
some iced tea the other day, and I'm using that, kind of finishing it up. And I had some vodka, so I threw in a little bit of some lemonade and the alcoholic version of the Arnold Palmer. So, any of the people out there, all you need is some lemonade. You need some iced tea. You can either do sweet or unsweet, and throw in some vodka. Or they do have the sweet tea vodka. If you want to get that, you can just throw in some lemonade, and you got yourself your John Daly. Because obviously, John Daly is known for being a crazy guy on the golf course smoking cigars and drinking and being a fat slob. So good
Yep.
for him. And he wins and drives the bomb, hits them dingers.
Was he essentially the Babe Ruth but for golf?
Yeah.
Nice.
It wouldn't surprise me if he does lines of coke and does, all these other things that Babe Ruth did too.
American heroes.
All right. Well, we're going to kind of segue into Delaware.
Yep.
What you said you got the first thing that you were going to talk about. So go ahead and take it off, man.
So one of the things I like to do is look for favorite foods and like famous things that Delaware are known for. And apparently, throughout the past couple of years, they've been trying to get a new state food but it's always failed because apparently the official state food is peach pie.
Okay.
Peach pie specifically, which I would never have guessed because, like we've talked about before, when you think peach, you think Georgia peaches.
Yeah,
right?
you don't think Delaware.
No, definitely not. But apparently they've got a small but super well loved peach crop. But one caught my eye here just because of the name, and it is dilly crab dip.
To what?
Dilly crab dip.
Okay, so what the hell is that?
So it is essentially a super simple appetizer that you can serve. Um, you take a half pound of imitation crab meat, flaked, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped dill, and one
Okay.
8-ounce package of cream cheese soft. You preheat your oven to 350, put all that in a medium bowl, combine your ingredients, and then you spoon your mixture into a small baking dish. Bake for about 25 to 30 minutes and then serve it immediately.
So I can see where that
yeah,
dilly comes from.
yeah, so not only does this have a fun and memorable name, it's super easy. And that's something that I can get behind. You
You know what? I
know?
do like crab dip, but I would actually, because Delaware is pretty, depending on where you're at, for the majority of the state, you're on that coast and you can get some blue crab fresh. So I wouldn't do the imitation stuff. I'd get the fresh crab and throw that in there.
And like that brings a very valid point because I don't know why you would use imitation crab meat if you have access to, like the real stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it maybe is a different texture that holds the dip better or not. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I just feel like the imitation crab just is like a block of like wet noodle style shit where if you
Yeah.
really wanted to get crab and you have access to it, and I don't think it's going to change your texture when it comes to the dip anyway. But I mean, you can season the hell out of some blue crabs and then get that taste going. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it comes down to just the seasoning. Because I mean, a lot of blue crab, especially in Delaware and Maryland and stuff like that, you get that Old Bay seasoning, or you get some beer, beer seasoning, whatever. And because I know down south, obviously the crawfish boils, everybody puts some seasoning on that too. So yeah, I think that it would probably be better with just real crab instead of imitation.
Yep. And you said Old Bay, but the one that I was thinking of, I couldn't remember the name of it because I know there's a name that's either similar or the same name that only does like rice. But
Okay.
Zatarain's crab mix is one thing that I like when I do like crayfish and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
But Old Bay, of course, you can't really go wrong with.
No, you can't. So, one of the other things that I know is pretty popular in Delaware that a lot of people know, and especially anybody that drinks beer, is Dogfish Head.
Mm-hmm.
They started in Delaware, Rehoboth Beach, actually, and they started in about 1995, and they were the first state brew pub. So they had a food place and everything, and it was basically, the plan was to bring original beer, original food, music to the area, and they kind of did that same thing. So I guess the guy started brewing some small batches at first, and then it kind of just grew from there. And then um, so they do some pretty good beers. They have their um, the Midas Touch. I don't know if you ever had that one before.
Mm-mm.
That one's very similar to mead. It's got the honey.
Ooh.
You can find that just about anywhere. I can guarantee you can find it at yours. Usually you can get it out of, I think they're 4 packs, because they're usually, I think they're like 10%, 11%.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest ones that they do is their 90-minute IPA. Actually, the 60 and the 120. So there's three of them that apparently people don't know how they do it. because if you look at the IBUs, so the 60, the 90, the 120, it comes out to that. It comes out to the IBUs, and people are wondering how the hell they do it. They've got this thing called the hopinator, I think, and it's got just enough to let the hops slowly come in at a certain time, and no one's been able to replicate it, at least from what I have heard. And so the IPAs are actually pretty good, and they're a little expensive though.
Yeah.
I know when I went to, geez, I think I was up in your neck of the woods the one time, and it was coming out in the bottles, and they were reasonably priced at that point. But I came down to the south the one time, and I found it on draft, and it was only like $5. I'm like, dude, I'm drinking this tonight because one, high ABV for $5. Someone messed up when they priced the priced the beer, because that shit's usually expensive as hell.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, no, like whenever I do think of the Dogfish Head Brewery, I always do think of their 60, 90, 120-minute IPAs.
Yeah,
And
that's kind of what they're known for.
right.
But they have plenty of other beers too. And the guy, Caglione, and I probably just butchered the shit out of that name. He has had a couple books of like extreme brewing, and I have bought a couple of them, and I've done some of his recipes, and holy Jesus, some of them are awesome. I did this this ale, this high ABV ale. It came out to like 14%, and it took forever for it to mellow out, and it took forever with all the sugar and everything that I added. But it turned out awesome. And then they also had a pumpkin one for fall, and I did one of those too. And just the way that he comes about brewing things and saying, hey, I'm going to take the weirdest things like a blood orange, and I'm going to make a beer with it, and just say, let's see how it goes. So if anybody who's a home brewer or anybody that likes or wants to get into brewing, I would suggest picking up one of his books and just following the directions for one, and then enjoying your spoils, because they do have some really good beers.
And it's funny because you said Dogfish Head was established in 1995.
95, yeah.
So in the early 90s, apparently, Delaware used to only have one winery, a few craft breweries, like maybe one or two here or there, and 0 distilleries. But as of today, there are more than 20 breweries, half a dozen wineries, and 2 distilleries. Sorry, got a little burpee burps.
You got the old bubble guts.
The old bubble guts. But also on top of that, they've started making mead and high ciders too, or hard ciders.
Yeah,
so it's crazy that the popularity of such a relatively small state has maybe perhaps seen what Dogfish Head can do for it in its community, and then kind of blossomed from there.
I can see that for sure. I mean, just looking at, I think more people are getting into that, especially the cideries and the meaderies. And Delaware, a huge vacation spot for a lot of people in the Northeast anyway. So I bet you right along that beach, they probably have a bunch of things that people can give and try.
Right. And as far as meadery goes, the one that is shouted out on the information I was looking at is called the Brimminghorn Meadery. They are first come, first serve. But they do bottle and growler sales only from Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 3. But they also do tasting.
Some weird ass hours.
Yeah. Thursdays, their hours turn again from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. But Friday and Saturday, they're open from 12 to 9. So I'm trying to see if I can figure out what kind of special needs they have. See if they have anything maybe different.
I mean, from the ones that I've been to and even just researched, a lot of the times you're gonna have your standard mead, You're going to have either whether it's, dry, kind of like a champagne, or you're going to have your sweet mead. And then you're going to have things like a jalapeno or like a mango, things like that. Every now and then you run along one, it's like, huh, that's pretty different. Like
Yeah.
a hibiscus, whatever.
So actually, this brings up into two things that I was able to pull up. We've got one called French toast,
Oh my gosh.
and it is what you would expect. It's got your honey, maple syrup, vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, uh, baked bread, butter, and toasted oak. Kind of all are the flavor profiles you're going to get into that.
I'd
And
love to see a recipe for that one and just try it.
right, and then we have so apparently Delaware is big in like the American death metal music scene for some reason. And now they have a mead called Blood of the God or Blood for the Gods, which is plum and Ariana berries aged for 6 months in oak barrels to give you a dark, sweet berry aroma with plum flavoring. So I'd be down to try some of those.
Yeah, sure.
Especially that French toast one. That one's like right up my alley.
Yeah, I would definitely give that one a shot. 100%. I love French toast.
Dude, me too. Like usually on Sundays, I get breakfast in the morning because of how my hours work. Today we skipped breakfast and we went to lunch, and I am regretting it. It's like my syrup intake is not met for the week. My beard's gonna fall out.
Well, one of the other things that I found too was a sandwich. Now we've kind of discussed in previous episodes about the difference between the sub and the hoagie hero. If you want to go back and listen to that one, go ahead. It's a great discussion. But obviously in Delaware, they have the submarine. That's where it's kind of coming along. And one of the ones that I thought was interesting, and it is a Delaware native sandwich, is called the Bobby.
Bobby.
Yeah, not shrimp on the Barbie either. You you Southerners, the Australian Bobbies. No, this is the Bobby, and it was basically introduced about 40 years ago, and it's their flagship sandwich. And Capriati's sub, what they did is they took Thanksgiving, and they just put it on a sub. So everybody has done that before. Like you get all your leftovers from Thanksgiving, you got your cranberry sauce, turkey, gravy, whatever it is, and you put on a sandwich, you just eat it. Well, they took that and put it on a sub. So it's essentially you got your turkey, you got your cranberry sauce, the stuffing, and mayonnaise on a baked roll. And it has been Wilmington's like numero uno sandwich for a long time. And apparently everybody in Delaware knows that it's the Bobby. And it's definitely the thing that everybody gets for National Sandwich Day.
The only way that could make my heart just a little bit better is if they somehow incorporated sweet potatoes on top of that.
Oh yeah, I could probably see that.
It's like I am a sucker for the sweet potato. So
but I guess they named it after their Aunt Bobby. So they wanted to recreate a sandwich that she did. And man, I could easily go for that.
dude, yeah.
If I saw that on the menu, I'd be like, dude, I am going to have to just get it. And then I'm going to have to come back to this place to try something else, because I do like things like chicken parm sandwiches and Philly cheesesteaks and whatnot. But man, if I saw that, it's like, here, just give me the Thanksgiving right now.
Right. And like, see, we've talked about this before too. There are a lot of restaurants you can go for like a chicken parm or like a Philly.
Oh yeah.
But not everybody's going to sell you the Bobby.
True. You are right on that one.
So like, if I can only feasibly get me a Bobby 2 to 3 days out of the year, and those 2 or 3 days are directly after Thanksgiving, I'm going to go there and order the Bobby.
Yeah. Apparently it's been highlighted in some pretty cool things. It's been on Food Network. It's been in Esquire magazine. It was on AOL.com way back when, named it the greatest sandwich in America, which I would agree.
Yeah.
And that a lot of people have been there. There have been a lot of celebrities that have done it. Cal Penn, for anybody that does White Castle,
Yeah.
right? The star of that one. Joe Biden's been there, but he's obviously from Delaware anyway. And a lot of people close to University of Delaware, so it's not too bad. I would definitely give that one a shot. I would think that other people would probably do the same.
Oh no, I agree. I'm just trying to plan something here.
Well, while you're doing that, there's another one that I found out too, and I found this to be kind of weird. Everybody knows chicken and dumplings, right? Well, apparently Delaware does it a little bit different. So when I think of dumplings, I think of the dough and it's dropped in. They look a little bit like teardrops almost because of the way that you squeeze it out. Well, they wound up taking this and they made dumplings, and they called them slippery dumplings because they're flat.
Oh
They
wow.
essentially square them out and they dump them in instead of the teardrop style. So it has no resemblance of that drop dumpling that you'd see in the South or even maybe in the Midwest. And it's one of the things that everybody goes to their grandma's or to their aunt's house, and they wind up getting that for Sunday, dinner or brunch or whatever. And I just kind of find that a little weird. I can see why they call them slippery dumplings because of the fact that they're flat and they're square. But man, like, why would you change that up a little bit? Why would you just be like, hey, I'm going to fuck off with this recipe and I'm going to make it flat instead of what a dumpling should be? It still has the sauce and everything, and you still have the chicken in there. Just, I would probably eat it and say, oh, yeah, this is good. But it's one of those things. It's like, that's going against the grain.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. So to catfish you real quick.
Okay.
Do you remember what restaurant sells the Bobby? Can you perhaps DM me an address?
Wait, say that again.
Do you remember what restaurant sells the Bobby in Delaware?
Yeah, it was Castiglione or whatever. I just said it. I can't remember. It starts with a C. Caglione's or Capriati's. There you go.
That's probably not. Oh, there we go. Capriati's sandwich. I'm trying to pull up something here. Give us a little bit of different thing and be like, so if you are in Delaware, if you wanted to go to the meadery that we had mentioned and also go to Capriati's for this sandwich, about how long would it take you? And apparently there's like 10 different Capriati's, 15, 20 in Delaware. So I'm just gonna randomly pick
franchise now.
Oh yeah, it's fair. Just randomly picking one here. Because Delaware is also not a huge state.
No. I feel like you can drive that within a couple hours maybe?
2 to 3 is what I saw. Yeah, so going from the restaurant to the meadery, taking toll roads takes you less than an hour and a half. So not a bad day trip. And who knows, that could be one of the farthest ones. Because I just randomly.
Yeah. So, you just picked one, yeah.
Yeah. Just a little interesting thing there. So, do you have anything else for the delicious state of Delaware?
Yeah, man. I saw a couple other things. There's one that I like the Italian stuff. So there's a pizzeria called Nicola Pizza. It's in Rehoboth Beach. So a lot of things have started around that area. probably because it's on the beach and a lot of people go there for vacations anyway.
Mhm.
But they wound up creating not quite a calzone, and not quite. You're looking at man, what the hell is the other one? It's not a calzone. Um, uh, Stromboli, that's what it is. So it's kind of in between, and it's basically in Delaware only, and it's ground beef in a pizza dough pocket. And this guy has coined it as the Nicoboli. And this guy, or this company, has basically done a lot of business to where people order it and have it shipped. And apparently George Bush and his wife had shipped to the White House. There's a bunch of people like Jim Cramer from Mad Money had them on the air. Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, he stops there. And I kind of want to try it because I do like calzones. I do like strombolis, and it really is only a couple ingredients, and it looks like a big hot pocket almost. So the Nicoboli is one of the more popular things when it comes to Delaware.
Yeah, and like I kind of pulled up some of it right now, and it's super simple. You've got fats from the beef are extracted. You get three different kinds of cheeses, sauce and dough, no animal fat or no vegetable oil, all homemade natural product.
Yep.
So interesting.
And then the one thing that could go with it, but probably not, but also goes with a lot of other things, and is a Delaware favorite, is Tatanka hot sauce. So apparently they did pretty good when it came to going to Louisiana. They did themselves a little Louisiana hot sauce competition. They came in third, and they do a lot of different flavors. They want flavor heat, and apparently they've been fine tuning the formula. So a lot of customers love it. It's been featured on Food Network, and it's part of the best eats in Delaware. So I have never had it before, haven't even seen it, but it looks like it can go to a lot of different things between fish, chicken. You can even throw it in Bloody Marys, scrambled eggs. So if you're in Delaware, or if you can, I think you can find it off of Amazon. Go ahead and pick that up too. Let me know what it is, because I'd be interesting to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of backtrack here, the Nicoboli, you can actually get them shipped to your doorstep.
Can you really?
Yep. Now, however,
Oh,
when you do that, because of USDA regulation, they are shipped without the ground beef. So they're only going to be the cheese and sauce, but they ship them overnight through FedEx. So, and there's an email address attached to where I'm getting this that if you want the mailing address, you can find. This was super simple to pull up too. I literally just typed in Nicoboli and then looked at their menu and then ended up clicking on Nicoboli and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, we can ship this to you." And that's when you know you got a baller product, when you can overnight it to somebody.
yeah, I know, right? Oh man, I don't know if I would want to eat that. I think I'd rather have it fresh.
Oh no, I'm with you on that
You
100%.
know, I think I'd rather go be in Delaware for whatever reason and say, yeah, let's go here and have this, instead of I'm gonna have this shipped to my door and it could be dog shit by the time that it gets there.
Right. Well, if you're like one of the 100 people that move out of Delaware and you're having a bad day, maybe your mom and pop want to send you a Nicoboli to make you feel better.
True.
So
That's funny. You have anything other coming
no,
from Delaware?
I do not. But I will say, diving into some of these more states that I'm not as familiar with, I get more and more intrigued to be like, I want to go there for a day just to eat food.
Oh yeah.
So
maybe if this picks off one day, we can have a bunch of followers. We could say, look, we're going to Delaware.
Right.
We're going to go to Rehoboth Beach and we're going to drink some beer and have some Nicobolis or whatever. That'd be a pretty cool thing. And then document that shit, have that as a vlog, whatever, podcast. Like, sure, let's do it.
Yeah, like I'd be down for it, but then one of us has to be the douchebag with the selfie stick.
Yeah, that's true. Or we can just have it hooked up right in front, get one of them vests so that we can have our hands free and still look like a douchebag doing it. But
Jesus Christ.
Goals, man, goals. Maybe someone will stumble upon this podcast and be like, you know what? I'm going to make their dreams come true.
Dude, Mr. Beast, you're out there. Well, I think it's been a good episode, and I look forward to our next one.
The next one, yep.
So we actually have been kind of talking off script about doing head-to-heads on kind of like an NBA bracket where I'll choose a couple of states and then he'll choose a couple of states, and we'll be like going head-to-head and debating which state has the better catalog of recipes and why we would want to visit that over the opposing state. So if you want to be into that, kind of let us know, and maybe we'll end up making that a thing.
Yeah, that might be something for later on when we have a couple more states underneath the belt.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But
and then we can do a head-to-head and find out, yeah, that could be something good, hopefully. So yeah, let us know if you guys want to hear us debate about what state would be better.
Right. I can already tell you right now, the state I live in will not win.
I guess it depends on what it's going up against. If it's going up against like Montana, it might win.
It might.
Or North Dakota, it might win, man.
It ain't gonna take number one. I can tell you that right now, though.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will be the overall winner.
No. No, I'm just being real. So, but I think we're gonna wrap it up. I've been the Meat Viking, my lovely co-host.
This is Professor Porkloin, and we are signing off for Delaware.
Deuces.